Hello and welcome back to my channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're liking this series on healing trauma from the Bible. Today I'm talking about the other side of fear. What is that? And what Bible verse I'm going to use? I'm going to use First Timothy 4, rather 2 Timothy. Welcome back to my channel. I'm dealing with healing trauma from the Bible, and I'm looking at aspects and ways in which trauma impacts us in our lives, the different ways it has affected us. And I am throughout the month of September unpacking those ways and using the Bible as our foundation and some ways that we can use it to heal. So today I'm talking about the other side of fear. What is the other side of fear? And how does fear affect us? Where does it come from? Does fear have a root? Yes, it does. It comes from somewhere. It didn't originate in you, and we're going to look at the other side of that. So Second Timothy 1 verse 7 said, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." The fear that you have did not come from him. So where did it come from? We know we have an enemy. We're in a war, the battle, right? The battle of, and it includes us. And we're in that. We're caught up in that. But the fear that you're experiencing, God didn't give it. Sometimes that fear may stop you from doing really important things that you want to do. That fear may feed perfectionism, that cripples you, that makes you not start some amazing projects that you could start, that make you parent from a place of fear, that make you love from a place of fear, that makes you hold parts of yourself back and not open yourself in relationships to receive love and compassion and kindness and commitment. It might stop you from making commitment, from fully loving, fully giving, fully opening yourselves up to others to give and to so that the love can flow both ways. That fear may stop you from applying for a job that you know you're really qualified for academically. That fear might stop you from using your gifts and your talents. The fear might stop you from putting some boundaries in place because fear of rejection and abandonment tells you that if you put boundaries in place, then people are going to leave. Now, the fear might affect us in many different ways. It might be affecting your finances, your spiritual growth, your emotional growth, but God did not give you that fear. Now, you may know that intellectually. So how do we address that on an emotional level so that we can be freed spiritually, right? Now, so where does fear comes from? Fear comes from experiences that we've had. And so we can get rid of fear. Fear is a real emotion that we feel first in our bodies. We feel it sometimes first in our bodies, characterized by increased heart rate, heat on our cheeks, weakness in our joints, trembling probably in our tummy. Our brain translates that and says, "You are afraid." And that might be in multiple scenarios where that fear might show up. To get on the other side, we first need to deal with how we feel in our bodies to get the sound mind that Timothy tells us that we can have. Because Timothy said, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind." Now we want the sound mind because when we have the sound mind, then it helps us to think clearly. That means we're getting back our frontal lobe, our sound mind. Fear is in the emotional brain. We want the frontal lobe where we can reason, we can think, we can honestly work through this, right? So we want that. So here are some simple exercises that you can do to deal with fear. First one, we need to acknowledge that we feel afraid. Remember, I described some places in the body where we might feel fear. We might describe that. One of the things I had to work through in terms of fear is with my children. My father used to say no all the time. I made a video about this recently. Say no, no, no. Can I go? No. Can we? No. I grew up really sheltered, very sheltered. There's a part of me as an adult that is thankful for him for that sheltering, because we need to shelter sometimes. But there's also another part of me that has been wounded by it that makes me pass it on to my children. And so as I'm raising my children and they're in their teenage years and they're negotiating for more freedom, I feel the fear that is happening in me that is making me not want to do it. So this morning I watched my son run up the road to get the train to go see his friends. Now he's 14. Once upon a time I'd never allow that. But I'm leaning into the fear of the what ifs. That's another way fear manifests itself in our life. Well, what if anything happened? And as he's running up the road, I'm praying over him, and the what ifs are trying to take over. and I could feel that the rumbling in my tummy, and I had to talk myself out of that fear. He's going to be fine. He's covered on the blood of Jesus. God is going with him. I can't go with him. I cannot keep him locked in. I can't hamper my children's progress emotionally and socially because of my fear. So I had to face it and deal with those real feelings that I was dealing with. Now, that what if didn't come from God, because Timothy said, God didn't give me that spirit of fear. He gave me a spirit of power and love and of a sound mind. And so I want that sound mind. I want that sound mind so I can parent them well. I can connect with them well, and I can give them a secure place from which to explore the world. I don't want to give them my fear. So we acknowledge the source of the fear. We acknowledge that we feel afraid, and we can pray through that. We can deal with that. We can tell, God to take that stronghold according to 2 Corinthians 10 verse 4. We can ask him 4 to 6 to take that stronghold of fear from our lives. We can acknowledge, though, we have to acknowledge how that is playing out, and acknowledge that there are ways that fear is playing out that I'm not privy to, I'm not aware of, because it's so pervasive, I might not know. And so we locate the fear in our bodies. We locate the fear in our bodies, right? And we use deep breathing to deal with that. So we take deep breaths to help us to relax the areas, relax the muscles in our body, locate fear, pray through it, work through it, talk through it, journal through it, and do what we need to do. Then we can use scriptures after we've done that to direct our mind to in a more progressive direction, put it in a direction of what is true, what is right, and what is good. We can divert it from our thoughts and the thoughts that are influencing feelings of fear. If you will be left, otherwise, if we don't do that, we're going to be left ruminating on the things that are not true. If I didn't do that this morning, I'll be ruminating on, oh, what if something happened to him, or what if, we would be, the what if is endless. It goes on and on and on. So what's on the other side of fear? What's on the other side of fear is confidence, it's peace, it's contentment. On the other side of fear, it's honesty. It's on the other side of fear. It's autonomy on the other side of fear. I'm giving them some, and I have some for myself too. Is on the other side of fear. Peace and a clear mind that will help you to tackle the things that are worrying you. Fear and those feelings will tell you that you cannot solve the problem. It's too big. You cannot change. It's too much. But we know that that's not true. When you have a sound mind, the sound mind that Timothy talks about, you can tackle any problem. Practice these tips to help you to manage when fear is clouding your judgment, clouding reason, taking away your peace, and leaving you without contentment.